Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to Planet Kiss, and we are once again hopping on the bandwagon today. That's right, folks. As you can tell by the title of today's video, today we're going to talk about my favorite song from each and every Kiss album. This is pretty tough for me to whittle down just because I've never really had a favorite Kiss song or album. I was just kind of raised on everything, at least for the makeup years, and then I kind of got into the non-makeup years on my own. But either way, I've never really picked out my own favorites from each album. I just kind of have always loved their overall sound. But for the sake of a fun YouTube video, I have attempted to pick out my favorite songs from each and every album, and obviously we're going to talk a little bit about them, why they're my favorites, and hopefully it should be a fun time. So as I said, we're hopping on the bandwagon because this is obviously not my idea. I've seen a couple other music/Kiss channels do this, and I specifically decided to toss in my 2 cents on this topic after seeing my friend Dylan, the record spinner, do this over on his channel. So yeah, just sounds like a very fun topic to talk about, and obviously I'm not going to do this. This is going to be a long video if I try to do this all in one, so I'm going to try to split this up into 3 different parts. So obviously today we're going to start with the first Kiss album, and I think we'll stop at Dynasty. Maybe I'll do Unmasked, and then part 2 will be the 80s years, part 3 will be the 90s and the 2000s. So anyway, I've done enough explaining. You get how this works. So without further ado, let's get into my favorite songs from each Kiss album. We're going to start with album 1, Kiss Self-Titled, and my favorite song from this album is Let Me Know. This song just puts me in a great mood as soon as I hear those first bluesy guitar chords that start the song. At its core, it's just a, good old-fashioned blues rock jam that actually sounds pretty appropriate for a Sunday drive, no pun intended. Alright, pun intended. There is a little bit of originality to it. It's not entirely blues with that little refrain that they do at the end, the ba-na-bam-bam-bam. I feel like that riff just kind of sounds like it's leaving you hanging, like it's kind of asking you a question. So, very fun riff, and that kind of owns the whole song, I think. Always gives me goosebumps. And of course, who could forget at the very end we get that little 3-part harmony. Ho, ho, ho. Sorry, I wish there was 3 of me here to actually properly do that. And that, of course, leads us into that famous outro jam that they have also used to tack onto the end of songs like She from Alive, and they've maybe done it on a couple other songs that I can't quite remember right now. Either way, the song always fires me up. It's a certified ripper in my book, and I'd say it's my favorite from the debut. Alright, I don't have Hotter Than Hell on vinyl yet, so I'm just gonna pretend I'm holding the album, and my favorite song from this album, Parasite. This is another one that just fires me up as soon as that grungy yet groovy chromatic guitar riff starts us off. This song was written by Ace, who doesn't sing it, but I'm always a little partial to the Ace stuff, of course. But yeah, just the way he wrote this, I love how that guitar riff is like grungy yet groovy at the same time, and it's a really simple guitar riff, but it just sounds so effective. And of course, Peter's shuffling drums also give this kind of that groove as well. The guitar solo is great in this song too. I did a whole video on Ace guitar solos a while back that you can watch if you want to hear my thoughts on that. But yeah, great guitar solo in this song as well. If I'm being real, this is honestly kind of a toss-up between this song and Watching You for me. But for the sake of making a decision, I think I'm going to go with this song as my favorite, with Watching You right behind it, almost touching it as a close second. All right. Third album, Dressed to Kill. My favorite song from this album, Love Her All I Can. Unlike the first 2 songs, this one doesn't really grab me from the beginning, although I love that opening guitar line, but it's more just about everything that's packed into that 2 minutes and 43 seconds of rock music. This is another song I've talked about my love for extensively on this channel, and I even made a Behind the Riffs video for it a while back. But just for this video, I'll say it again. We get 3 verses, 3 choruses, 2 guitar solos, and a drum solo, all in under 3 minutes on this song. If that's not the definition of pure rock and roll, then I have no idea what is. It's just packed with organized chaos. Also, fun fact, this is originally a Wicked Lester song that they brought back for this album, and you can actually listen to the Wicked Lester version online. I don't mind it. It's just way more of a hippie 60s version of the song, but it's still kind of cool. But either way, I'm still glad that they Kissified it, and it still made its way into the Kiss universe. All right, 4th record, Destroyer. My favorite song from this album, Flaming Youth. Alright, now we're back to songs that fire me up from the very start. That intro build-up that just explodes into the groove of the song, topped with Paul's signature, "Oh yeah!" It just gets me going, honestly, more than any other song on this record, and it just feels like the most Destroyer to me. Like, when I hear this song, I can't help but picture, like, whatever the moving version of the album cover is, like whether they're running or jumping, whatever it is, I just kind of envision that when I hear this song. This song's just peak Destroyer to me, and it's also one of my go-to songs to put on in the car as I'm leaving work on Fridays, just ready to fire up my weekends. Alright, 5th album, Rock and Roll Over. I have said this before on the channel, but my favorite song from this album is Mr. Speed. This song is just the classic underdog song of the initial makeup years to me. I think it's a lot of fans, at least one of fans' favorite deep cuts, and for good reason. It's definitely more Stones inspired, even though I'm traditionally more of a Beatles guy at heart, but I've just always loved that main guitar riff, and even as a kid, I've always just known that there was some sort of magic magic to it, and I always wondered why it didn't get more attention than it did. There's of course even part of me now that still gets excited whenever I'm listening to that album front to back, and I know that that song's coming up or it's the next song. It's such a simple song, but there's just something about that guitar riff and that City Slicker groove that I just can't get enough of. All right, Love Gun. I have also said this time and time again on the channel, but my favorite song from this album, Shock Me. Again, I've talked about this song time and time again on the channel, so I'm actually going to let Past Me talk about it and just kind of reiterate some of why I love it so much. This is the definitive Ace Frehley in Kiss song. It's an electrifying classic with an electrifying guitar solo, and the song's about getting electrocuted. It's electric. This classic is track 4 of Love Gun, and it just takes the album and really the band to a whole new level. It's the first album where all 4 members technically were singing on the record, even though he just had one song. I just love the story behind this one too. Apparently Ace was so nervous to track vocals for this song that he had to lie on his back in the vocal booth, have everybody turn all the lights off, and probably with some extra help of Liquid Courage, he was finally able to belt this song out, making it a legendary tale for honestly one of the most legendary Kiss songs to me. This song was just Ace at his best, and it was literally only just the beginning for him. So yeah, those are my thoughts on this song, but in the context of Love Gun, there are definitely some more songs on here that are close seconds, like I Stole Your Love, or of course the title track, even Hooligan I love. So those are just a couple other favorites that come to mind, but at the end of the day, dude, it shocked me all day, every day. All right, baby. Dynasty, my favorite song from this album. Hard Times. Once again, I'm sorry, this is another Ace song, and this is another song that I've talked about on the channel before, so I'm gonna let Past Me take this one over again. This song's kind of a hard little rocker for Dynasty. This is kind of a song that I feel like you can show somebody if they try to tell you that Dynasty is a full disco record. This song rocks, and it just kind of talks about him growing up in the Bronx and getting into hood rat shit, like cutting class, getting spaced out in the park, and getting arrested. Luckily, I've never been arrested, but I can relate to those first 2 things, so I'm always a sucker for songs about ditching the norm and getting fucked up. Plus, the way he sings some of those lines, too, is just so Ace.
We go to school!
Anyway, I love the drums on this one too, especially those little fills before the choruses. They're just so fun to air drum to. Plus, it includes some fun auxiliary percussion too, like some shakers and one of those things that you hit and it goes like, which just kind of adds to the ne'er-do-well and the schoolyard vibes of the song and makes it even more fun to listen to. So yeah, that was in terms of my top 5 Ace songs, but in the context of Dynasty, this is one of the more harder rocking songs on the record. Plus, again, it's just such a signature Ace song from the way that he sings it all the way up to that long guitar solo, which is even part reversed. So yeah, very fun and carefree rock song, and I'm glad that it made its way onto an album like Dynasty. All right, folks, my camera is about to die, so for the sake of that, I am not going to go any further. We're going to cap it off at Dynasty, but stay tuned for part 2 next week. We're going to go over the whole 80s year, starting with Unmasked, probably cap it off at Hot in the Shade on that one. But until then, as always, I'm going to turn the microphone over to you. What's your favorite Kiss song from each album of the 70s? What's your least favorite? I don't care, whatever it is, I want to hear it down in the comments below. As always, visit the links in my description if you want to listen to or purchase the background music that I make and use for these videos. Visit my eBay to check out some things that I'm trying to part ways with here in my Kiss collection and beyond. And as always, folks, be sure to follow the Planet Kiss Instagram for more Kiss fun. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next week for part 2. Until then, for Ace Frehley, for Eric Carr, and for Mark St. John, I'm Planet Kiss, signing off.